Reporting live from Hyper Clubhouse in Atlanta for Comedy Hype News, I'm John Abba. It's been close to 2 weeks since we all would react to the news that Donald J. Trump was headed back to the White House. Since then, Trump has started recruiting his cabinet members to prep for his official January 2025 start. Now, many notable names in comedy have spoken about Trump's return, including D.L. Hughley, Eddie Griffin, and Godfrey. Now, if you can recall, during his time as president from 2017 to 2021, Trump would serve as go-to material for many comedians, and this time around, it appears to be no different. Now, outside of the names mentioned earlier, when it comes to Dave Chappelle, quite a few online users would anticipate what the legendary comedian had to say about Trump's return. On Friday night in Detroit, Chappelle and Grammy-nominated rapper Killer Mike would kick off their tour, Still Talking That Shit. The 7-city tour with Live Nation is set to be a fusion of comedy and music. Now, when it came down to his comments on Trump, according to an audience member in Detroit, he would share several comments, but the one that would stand out the most would be Chappelle joking about white people being back. That same online user would also point out some of the racial undertones surrounding the election, tied in with his experience at Chappelle's show. Went to see Dave Chappelle and Killer Mike last night. It was about a 75% white crowd. So all the Trump jokes made me feel uncomfortable. It felt like they were laughing at me instead of with me. All that dancing and singing to Killer Mike, but 2 weeks ago at the polls, you voted against the same people that you love to entertain you. Maybe that's all we'll ever be in America. Just a weird time in America for me. Anyway, be blessed and have a beautiful weekend. Other reactions from the night included last night, Dave Chappelle and Killer Mike put on a good ass show. This was the funniest Dave I've seen in the last 4 shows. And when it comes down to the Atlanta stop, one user would write, they played swag surfing last night at Dave Chappelle's show. The difficult white people have with rhythm is mind-boggling. How was you messing up left to right? The visual cues should be enough. LOL. Now, what makes the Detroit audience member who stated it felt like they were laughing at him instead of with them interesting is that Chappelle himself would allegedly express a similar sentiment of feeling uncomfortable on the Chappelle show set in season 3 that would lead him into actually quitting the show. According to a Time excerpt, the Black Pixie played by Chappelle wears blackface and tries to convince blacks to act in stereotypical ways. Chappelle thought the sketch was funny, the kind of thing his friends would laugh at. But at the taping, one spectator, a white man, laughed particularly loud and long. His laughter struck Chappelle as wrong, and he wondered if the new season of his show had gone from sending up stereotypes to merely reinforcing them. When he laughed at it, it made me uncomfortable, said Chappelle. As a matter of fact, that was the last thing I shot before I told myself I gotta take effing time out after this, because my head almost exploded. As far as Chappelle's current tour with Killer Mike, they have 4 more stops to make before their final show in Long Beach, California on November 24th. Let's talk about them in the comments below. How do you feel about Chappelle's outlook on Trump's return? And for more news and comedy, be sure to subscribe here to our YouTube channel and follow Comedy Hype across all social media. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget you can send us a super thanks by hitting the button below, and you can tip us what you want to show your support. Reporting live from Hyper Clubhouse in Atlanta for Comedy Hype News, I'm John Abba.